Welcome back. It is Saturday, June 24th, and the MLB, our two favorite picks, are on the way. It's Austin, joined by Logan, and it's tough to put on a smile this morning, everyone, because let's recap yesterday, an 0-3 day. Look, let's talk about Mariners, Orioles, under 8.5. Logan could probably go on a 10-minute rant for this one because, obviously it came off the hot start, was actually looking decently, and then they tossed in their worst bullpen arm in the 8th inning. Shout out Keegan Aiken. My pick, I don't think I've had a more frustrating one to watch. Reds team total over 4.5. They obviously crushed that. Matt McClain to get a hit. Yeah, no, he scored 11 runs. He had nothing to do there. He had a walk and a hit by a pitch, 0 for 3. And then the Brewers Guardians, no run first inning. Yeah, they scored in the first, and I don't think they scored again until like the 5th or 6th inning. That's just how Nerfy Nation has been doing so far this year. An 0-3 day. Now let's take a step back and let's put Logan and I both on the half screen. Now, we know June sucked. Like, I think we're down 14 units this month. I mean, still up 16 on the year, but down 14 units. June has been probably our worst month bet in MLB over the last 2 years. And so if we somehow go 0-3 today, you will only hear two picks from us right now. We're going to add a third one probably around 12 p.m. lunchtime once lineups come out. It's obviously the weekend, so lineups sometimes do flip around. But we'll add a third play. If we go 0-3, this is what we're doing. We're giving away $250 to one random subscriber. All you got to do is go down below, hit the subscribe button. Simple as that. It's free. You could win $250 if we go 0-3, which this month has been pretty likely we could do that. Also, we're giving $250 to a random COS All-Star or a Dub Club user. We got a list of all the people in there. We'll select one randomly. Look, we got to dial in. Now, I do want to talk about some positive news. And Logan, last year at this exact point, June 24th, going into June 24th video 2022, we were plus 6.71 units. Obviously, we're up 10 more units than that right now. And we ended last year up 50 units. Look, it's been a cold streak in June, but Logan and I know the breaks. We've not been going our way. Hopefully, we get some good luck to come our way. We're not making excuses. We just know what we were last year, and then we know how we finished. Hopefully, we have a great second half of the season. We're absolutely dialing back in today. And Logan, I think you're going back to the scene of the crime yesterday. And what's it going to be?
I'm going exactly back to the scene of the crime. This Mariners versus Orioles game, the game that had me minced, heated in last night. I'm taking the under 9 runs in this one, minus 115 odds on DraftKings. I also do like it at 8.5, obviously, but if I'm left between 9 or 8.5 for plus value, I will take the 9, the extra half run in case they do push, because that would be my luck. It's them to land right on 9. Now, why am I going back to this one? Why am I crazy enough to go back to this one? Because I know what I saw last night. And what I saw last night just made me sick to my stomach in every single way. Because Keegan Aiken of the Baltimore Orioles came in to pitch and to sell this under pick. 6 hits, 6 earned runs, Keegan Aiken yesterday. Now, for anybody that's been a real OG of this channel, when I first started betting baseball on this channel, I'd wake up and I'd look for Keegan Aiken's name in the starting pitcher role, and I would go fade him, just blind fade him. He is such a terrible pitcher. In 24 games a couple seasons ago, back when he was a starter, he had almost a 7 ERA. So the fact that they put him in when I needed an under just made me sick in every way. So that's my mini rant. But I'm back on it today because Keegan Aiken will not be pitching today. And if he is, well, then I'm just going to go. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's try to find that out. But the under is the right side of today's game. I thought it was the right side of yesterday's game. Clearly, it was not with a blowout and the bullpen usage. But Dean Kramer is starting for the Orioles today. You look at his ERA and WHIP, 4.56 ERA and a 1.4 on WHIP. His expected ERA is high. Expected ERA 5.88. But at least his walk percentage is in the 82nd percentile. Look, I think Dean Kramer is actually in line for a good start today. He relies heavily on the late break movement on his pitches. And obviously, for much of the season, he hasn't been getting it. And when he has, he's been getting hit hard. Now, what worked for the Seattle Mariners yesterday? They capitalized on Gibson just not having it. Gibson did not have his command or control yesterday. He was all over the place, and when he was throwing pitches in the zone, they were right down the middle. The Mariners were hitting them. Of course, any Major League Baseball team could hit some of the pitches that Gibson was throwing yesterday. That doesn't change the fact, though, that this Mariners offense, only hitting 234 on the road. That's super inflated too as well, because they just scored 10 in New York. They scored 13 last night. The fact that they're still hitting under 240 just tells you how bad they've been, most of this year. Seattle also 29th in strikeouts, 25th in hits on the road. Look, I really did think our under had a chance yesterday because I saw once again the Mariners swinging at bad pitches, and I was like, okay, Julio Rodriguez ain't never seen a pitch he didn't like. He loves swinging at anything and everything. Kramer doesn't have to be perfect today. He just has to find a way to induce some soft contact outs and not get those hard hit extra base hits. I mean, the hard hit extra base hits via home run, via double off the wall, any of that will absolutely kill us today. But I think Kramer actually will be able to do some soft contact like Gibson was not able to yesterday. Now, who's starting for the Mariners today? It's Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller, 3.68 ERA and a .88 whip. I like those numbers from Bryce Miller a lot. He's 79th percentile in chase rate, so he is getting these batters to expand their zones, and he's 97th in percentile in walk percentage. You look, what's an under killer? Walks. Of course, everyone knows that, because a solo home run can turn into a 2-run home run or a 3-run home run in a blink of an eye when you're walking batters. And Bryce Miller, knock on wood, he's been good at not doing that this year. Baltimore only hitting 175 in their last 3 games. I mean, that's on brand with what I've been seeing right now. The losses of Mountcastle and Cedric Mullins are finally, to me, catching up to the Orioles. They rely too heavily on Santander and Rushman for the production, and I think that's kind of this lineup, which was once an absolutely juggernaut lineup, balanced hitters 1 through 9. I'm just not seeing that from the Orioles these days. And Baltimore, now let's talk about bullpen. Baltimore 12th in bullpen ERA, Seattle 4th in bullpen ERA. Baltimore's bullpen ERA slid last night after what I just watched. But I know their good arms in the bullpen weren't even used yesterday. I expect those good arms to come in. And I do trust Seattle's bullpen a lot. They have a lot of good relievers. At the end of the day, this is just one of those picks that I'm like, I have to run it back for my sanity, because yesterday it was just such a sickening loss. The box score doesn't even look close. Like, the people that don't watch baseball or don't watch their picks, they look up and they're like, wow, dude, not even close. But if you watched, you would know this is a lot closer than the final box score indicated. I do think the unders, once again, the play between these two teams. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. Austin, you got another total for us? What you going with?
Yeah, I mean, I love the under pick. I love running it back. The Mariners 7 for 15 with runners in scoring position yesterday. If they want to do that again, well, they're probably going to go over. But I really like it. And for my pick, I'm going to go to one of the most electric games, one of the most fun games I've watched this season, except for a little twist in there, was the Braves and Reds. I'm going back to it. I'm taking the over 11.5 runs in this one, -110 on FanDuel. Now, obviously, we see a line similar to what we got yesterday, and you saw when both teams, great hitting conditions, we saw a final score of 11-10. And I would not be surprised if we see another high-scoring game. I don't know if we'll get 21 runs again, but I don't think the books are going to raise this line much higher than 11.5. It's obviously not Coors Field. We rarely see, the line, even regardless of how the previous game did, for them to raise it up a whole lot, unless you go back to the Mexico City games, when you saw one game have a ton of runs. They're like, oh no, we got to raise this line, and that's what they did. Now, we're not going to touch the London game today, although I'll be watching it, and hopefully it's a higher scoring game. We might even have an added play in there, like I said, added play in the pin comment. But why do I like the over here? And a lot of it comes down to is bullpen arms. I mean, you look at the Braves, they had to use 4 bullpen arms yesterday. The Reds used 6. The Reds are a team that loves using their bullpen guys back-to-back days, which I don't think is a recipe for success. They're just asking for the bullpen to give up runs. And while the Braves technically have 3 bullpen guys that they used back 2 days ago against the Phillies, and they could use them again here today, but at the end of the day, they used a lot of those bullpen arms. So if they don't get length out of their starters here, we can see some guys coming in and pitching twice 2 days in a row, which teams really don't want to do. Now, you look at, according to the weather, according to Ballpark Pal, which we like to check out, you have plus 26% for home runs, plus 15% runs total. You have very hitter-friendly conditions. Just like we saw yesterday, we saw the ball flying out of the ballpark, and this is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. So when the ball's flying out of it, you got 2 very good offenses. I certainly think runs are going to be scored here today. Now, let's talk about who's going to start for the Reds. It's going to be Graham Ashcraft. Now, Ashcraft actually has a very good record on no-run first innings, 11-2. He'll have his work cut out for him today against the Braves, who are, I think, the best first inning scoring offense in the league. And you look at Ashcraft, 6.78 ERA, 1.62 whip. In his last 7 starts, here's the earned runs he's allowed: 8, 3, 7, 7, 3, 10, and 3 earned runs. Now, he's returning back from injury, and if he wants to spot us, a 7 or 8 or maybe even 10 earned runs, I would really appreciate it. But I don't necessarily know how far he pitches into this game. Like I said, coming back from injury, I really don't think he's going to pitch far into this one. And that, like I said, that could bode well for us when we get to the Reds bullpen if they have to go to their guys early and often. Now, the thing about Ashcraft, he misses location a lot. He's obviously, I mean, you can see when you're giving up 7 and 8 and 10 runs and it doesn't look like an anomaly, you know a guy's missing location. That's the Braves team that makes their money on missed locations. This is the guy that's going to throw a lot of sliders, a lot of cutters too, and this is a Braves team that will demolish those pitches. This is also a Braves team that is 11th in walks drawn. If Ashcraft is struggling with location, this Braves team is going to keep the bat on their shoulder and just take their base, and this is a team capable of stealing bases, putting themselves in scoring position, and I certainly think they're capable of doing that. Now, you also look at the Reds, like I talked about, their bullpen threw 96 pitches yesterday with like 6 guys. That bullpen's taxed. Now, let's talk about I think the Braves are going to score plenty of runs here today. We're also going to need the Reds to score some runs here, too, and they're going to go up against Jared Schuster, a lefty for the Braves. Now, look at Schuster's stats, 4.57 ERA and a 1.38 whip. I mean, he's coming off a pretty good start, 5 2/3 innings pitched, only 1 earned run versus the Colorado Rockies. So it'll be his first road start in a hot minute. And the thing about Schuster, not great at getting strikeouts. Now, this is a Reds team that obviously, when they're putting the ball in play, they're doing pretty good things. They got a lot of speed there, and they got a lot of guys that, if they find the gap, like Ellie De La Cruz, they can stretch a double into a triple. I mean, shout out to him for hitting for the cycle. Couldn't have given us one hit for Matt McClain. No, Ellie De La Cruz can have them all. But either way, I mean, you look at his hits allowed prop, Jared Schuster, that is sitting at 5.5. And now a line that he's gone under in 5 of 6 starts. So they're obviously giving some respect to the Reds offense here. It's a Reds offense that really doesn't have any easy outs. I mean, McClain's probably hitting for the cycle today, if we're being honest. I mean, if you want to throw a McClain hit in there, he's probably going to get a hit in the first at bat. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look at Schuster going to struggle to strike out guys. There's a reason his line's sitting at like 3.5. If you want to go to 4.5, it's like plus 150 on the over. So look at the Schuster. He's going to throw a lot of fastballs 45% of the time and a lot of sliders 33% of the time. This is a Reds team that hits the fastball very well. Reds are also 6th in batting average versus left-handed pitchers. I think they have guys on the base paths today. Do they get those timely hits? Are they able to elevate the ball and just let the wind carry it out into the outfield, into the bleachers? I certainly think so. So I really like the over in this one. I see I think the public's on the under for whatever reason, but I think the over is the smarter place to be here. I like the over 11.5. This was obviously one of the most electric games to watch yesterday. A lot of solo homers in there from the Braves at the end of the day, but we could see a couple 2-3-run homers say. I think that's going to carry us to an over. So I really like this one. It's going to be a good time to watch it. The Red Stadium is packed. They've won, 12 in a row now. The Braves coming off a loss after winning 8 in a row. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So give me the Braves, give me the Reds, give me the over 11.5. If I had to pick a team to take a team total in that one, I like the Braves a little bit more, but you can't disrespect what the Reds are doing right now. This is a team that can put up 5 runs in any given inning, and yesterday I think we had 2 innings of 5+ runs. So either way, love Braves, Reds, taking the over 11.5. But Logan, we have a third play that we might add. We'll check it out, the pinned comment. We want to have a third play, but we obviously aren't going to force one, but check out the pinned comment. It will be posted probably around lunchtime, 12 p.m. Eastern time. You'll have plenty of time to enter it before the game starts, at least over an hour, or you could obviously, if you want to join our Dub Club, we'll obviously send it out to notifications there. But Logan, any final closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. It's been a really rough June. I actually think this is like one of my worst months of gambling ever. Like anything that can go wrong does go wrong for us recently. Last night was just a perfect culmination of all of that. I mean, we're taking a break from the Nerfy again because I swear if I see another Nerfy, it's just not good for my mental health. So we're not going to gamble like that. You still have to gamble responsibly and gamble within your means. So at the end of the day, I do like what we were rolling with today, and we will turn this around. I am so confident in that because baseball is just such a marathon, not a sprint. We're kind of like the stock market. We are just recession low, tanking, but we will definitely hit the upswing. I'm confident in that.
Yeah, and if people want to wait until post-All-Star break, I wouldn't call you crazy. That's coming up in a couple weeks, I believe. And if you want to run back Brewers, Guardians, Nerfy, it'll probably be the quickest 6 outs you'll ever see. It's probably going to be 12 pitches total. Just immaculate innings left and right. But either way, we aren't going to force a Nerfy until there's one that we're really confident in. We liked yesterday, just did not go down. But either way, 2 picks coming your guys' way. Let's go 2-0 on those, and let's go 3-0 if we add a play in the pin comment. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great bounce back day. Let's end June with a little bit of a hot streak and go into July steaming hot. We'll see you guys back in tomorrow for some more plays. Peace.